It started like any other calm evening. Caleb, my son, was upstairs immersed in his homework, the soft scratching of his pencil barely audible from below. Downstairs, it was just me and Lauren at the dining table. 6 years into our marriage, and yet, the silence tonight felt unusually suffocating. She barely touched her meal, idly pushing the food around her plate with her fork. Her gaze stayed fixed on nothing in particular, never once meeting mine. At first, I assumed she was just tired. Maybe it had been a rough day. But the way she sat, detached, distant, sent a shiver down my spine. Something was clearly off. I cleared my throat, trying to keep my tone even. "Is everything all right?" She froze for a moment, then slowly looked up. Her expression gave nothing away, but her words sliced through the air with surgical precision. "I think we should try an open marriage." For a moment, I thought I'd misheard. The sentence made no sense. It didn't belong in the world we had built together. I blinked, struggling to make sense of it. "What?" She didn't stammer or crack a smile. No hint of hesitation. She leaned back in her chair, arms crossing over her chest. "I just think we could use more freedom. Try new things. It might even make us stronger." Stronger. The word echoed hollowly in my mind. Nothing about what she was saying felt like strength. My heart pounded, yet time seemed to slow. Her voice carried no guilt, no fear of how I might respond. She had already decided. That certainty in her voice, that lack of care, frightened me more than the suggestion itself. I could have erupted right there. Demanded to know if someone else was already in the picture. Asked if I was just the last fool left in the dark. But I didn't. I inhaled deeply, steadied my voice. That's not the kind of marriage I agreed to. I kept my eyes locked on hers, refusing to flinch. "If you're done with this, just be honest." Still, no reaction. She didn't look away. Just gave a small shrug. "I figured you'd say that." And then she stood, took her plate, and walked off as if the conversation hadn't happened, as if I didn't matter. That was the moment I understood. This wasn't a question. It wasn't even a request. She had already chosen a different path. Whether I liked it or not, everything was about to change. The next morning, the quiet was unbearable. No cheerful, "good morning," no sounds from the kitchen, just stillness. I walked out of our room and found her seated at the table, sipping coffee, scrolling through her phone like I was invisible. We usually shared a few words before work. Nothing deep, just the simple, familiar kind. "Have a good day. Text me later." But today, she didn't even acknowledge me. I hesitated, then said a soft, "morning." She didn't glance up. Just took a slow sip and continued scrolling. That was the first real sign. At work, I kept checking my phone, half expecting a message from her. Something. Anything. An update, a reminder, even a random question. But the screen stayed blank. No messages. No notifications. Just silence. That evening, the gap between us wasn't just emotional. It was like a canyon. I tried anyway. "How was your day?" "MHM. Anything new?" "Okay." Each response shorter than the last. No effort. No warmth. The woman I had built a life with was now treating me like a distant acquaintance. And the most painful part? She didn't seem to care. In the days that followed, that coldness hardened. She stopped pretending altogether. She'd sit right beside me on the couch, grinning at her phone while her fingers danced across the screen. A glow on her face I hadn't seen in months. Her eyes sparkled, her smile bloomed, just not for me. "Who are you talking to?" She rolled her eyes. "No one." But the messages didn't stop. She started going out more often, dressed like she was single again. Tight outfits, makeup perfectly done, hair curled with precision. "Where are you going?" I asked one evening as she stepped into her heels. "Out with friends." "Which friends?" She let out a sigh, snatched up her purse. "Why do you care?" And then she was gone. Some nights, she didn't come home. No calls. No texts. Nothing. The first time it happened, I stayed up, eyes locked on the door, waiting for the sound of her keys. But she never came. The next morning, she strolled in like it was any other day, kicked off her shoes and went straight to the shower. I could smell the alcohol on her skin. The scent of someone else's perfume lingered faintly. I wanted to ask, to demand answers. But deep down, I already knew how she'd respond. "You're being paranoid." She'd laugh, maybe roll her eyes, make me feel like the fool. Then one night, as she brushed past me without a word, I stepped in front of her. "Lauren, we need to talk." She gave me a sharp smile, cold, amused, then chuckled softly. "No, we don't." She pushed past me and closed the bedroom door behind her, shutting me out completely. That's when it hit me. This wasn't just neglect anymore. This was deliberate. She wanted me to feel invisible, unwanted. And it was working. It's painful enough when your wife stops caring. It's worse when your child starts noticing. One night, while I cleared the dinner plates, Caleb looked up, confusion clouding his young face. He hesitated, his fork scraping softly against the dish. "Dad, why doesn't Lauren eat with us anymore?" For a moment, I couldn't speak. How do you tell an 11-year-old that the woman he considers family doesn't want to be one? I forced a smile and gently ruffled his hair. "She's just had a lot on her plate lately, buddy." Caleb gave a small nod, but the doubt was plain in his eyes. He didn't buy it. Later that night, after he'd gone to bed, I sat alone in the dark living room, lost in silence. The home I once found comfort in now felt hollow. I was just an afterthought in my own house. Lauren didn't even bother to pretend anymore. The affection, the closeness, the sense of being partners, it had all evaporated. And then one night, everything shifted. It was late, 2 a.m. I'd been slipping in and out of sleep when a faint sound tugged me back to awareness. A quiet laugh. At first, I thought I was imagining it. But then I heard it again, a gentle giggle followed by the soft tapping of fingertips on a screen. Blinking against the darkness, I turned my head. There she was, lying right beside me in bed, face lit by the pale glow of her phone. Her expression was soft, eyes fixed on her screen, a faint smile playing on her lips. I didn't speak. I just watched. She was messaging someone. Her fingers danced across the screen with ease, scrolling, typing, occasionally chuckling to herself, completely at ease, as if I didn't exist. Or worse, fully aware, and just didn't care. Something inside me broke. Until that moment, I had been clinging to hope, telling myself this was temporary, trying to make sense of her coldness. But watching her there, laying in our bed, grinning at a man on the other end of a phone, I saw the truth clearly. She was already gone, and she believed I'd simply accept it. But I wouldn't. Not anymore. The next morning, while she slept soundly, I made a decision. I wasn't going to walk out aimlessly. I was going to walk away with purpose. From that day forward, I started keeping a record. Every time she came home late. Every time she brushed me off. Every eye roll, every dismissive shrug, every moment she treated me like I didn't matter. I noted it all. Then came my opportunity. She left her phone unattended for a few minutes, long enough for me to act. I opened her messages and scrolled through every flirtatious exchange she'd had with other men. I took screenshots and sent them to myself. I wasn't about to let her rewrite the story when I left. With evidence in hand, I contacted a lawyer. I needed to know my legal standing, to ensure that when I walked away, she wouldn't have anything to hold over me. I also spoke to my boss. I had been considering a transfer to a different state for a while, but I'd always held back because of Lauren. Not anymore. My boss approved the move quickly. I found an apartment in the new city. Everything was falling into place. All I had to do was wait for the right moment. That morning, like so many others, Lauren slept in. She had grown used to her new rhythm, late nights, slow mornings, never having to explain anything to anyone. But this morning was different. At first, she might not have noticed. But as she walked through the house, she'd start to see it. Half the closet was empty. My clothes gone from the drawers. Caleb's room cleared out. Then she'd head into the kitchen for her sacred morning coffee, the one ritual she never skipped. And that's where she would see it. An envelope waiting by the machine. Inside, divorce papers. And on top, a single sticky note in my handwriting. I hope you find the freedom you were looking for. I never saw her reaction. I didn't need to, because by then, I was already gone. Lauren never called. Not once. No texts. No effort to reach out. Not even a pretense of regret. The only time I heard from her again was through official legal correspondence, her lawyer's letterhead printed neatly at the top. What did she want? Not an apology. Not reconciliation. Money. The letter read like a shopping list. A lump sum payout for the years we'd been married. Spousal support, despite her being fully capable of earning her own income. And most absurd of all, half of my assets. She genuinely thought that after everything she had put me through, I'd still bankroll her lifestyle. The entitlement was laughable. But I had no intention of playing that game. When we stepped into court, I was ready. Months of documentation, every message, every moment she emotionally checked out, I brought it all. My lawyer presented the case clearly and thoroughly. It wasn't even a contest. The judge ruled in my favor. She got nothing. All those months she had treated me like I was expendable, confident I'd either stay and endure it or leave and still support her. She bet everything and lost it all. It's been 2 years since Caleb and I left. 2 years of rebuilding. Of finding peace. Of no longer waiting for apologies that would never come. Lauren never reached out. Until one night. I was in the kitchen, cooking dinner, when my phone rang. Her name lit up the screen, Lauren. I stared at it for a moment. I hadn't deleted her number. Maybe I kept it as a reminder of the pain I'd survived. My thumb hovered over the screen. I considered letting it go to voicemail. But I already knew, people like Lauren only call when they need something. I answered. "George," she said. Her voice sounded unfamiliar. No arrogance. No confidence. Just quiet uncertainty. I waited. "I just wanted to say I'm sorry," she said, almost in a whisper. "I was selfish. I thought you'd always stay. I didn't think you'd actually leave." I closed my eyes and let out a long breath. The regret had finally caught up to her, but far too late. Then came the words I knew were coming. "I miss you." I felt nothing. No anger. No sadness. Just emptiness. "Do you miss me?" I asked calmly. "Or do you miss the man who loved you even when you didn't deserve it?" Silence. That told me everything I needed to know. She tried again, her voice breaking. "George, please." But I had already made my decision. "Lauren, I truly hope you heal. But I'm not coming back." I ended the call. And for the first time in years, I felt completely free. There's a lesson tucked inside every heartbreak, even the ones that blindside us. Sometimes, the people we love assume will always be there, always forgiving, always enduring. But love without respect is nothing more than obligation. Walking away isn't weakness. Sometimes, it's the strongest choice we can make. Have you ever had to walk away from someone you thought would never let you go? Share your story in the comments below.